Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Tracy and for today's video we are casing from the new annual catalogue. I'm really excited to be casing from this catalogue and I've chosen a stamp set that I was really excited to receive. It's on page 13 of the catalogue. Now this card actually sold me this set, which is the Celebrate Sunflowers bundle. Isn't this card gorgeous? I'm going to bring it in and quickly show you as well. This one here. Let's get started. All the supplies I'm using for today's card can be seen on the screen, and we're using the Celebrate Sunflowers stamp set. We have a pretty simple kit today. We have thick Whisper White card base, we have a piece of crumb cake card, and our sentiment is going to be on basic black. So with the crumb cake cardstock, we're going to use the Sahara Sand ink and that large sunflower stamp, and I'm just going to do some random stamping all the way around that piece of card. I'm using a little bit of scrap paper underneath just to protect my work surface. We have the watercolour pencils and the watercolour assortment 2 pencils that we're using, and on my first sample, the card that you can see there on the right, I did use the Whisper White refill and the ink pad as well. For this one I'm using just the Whisper White watercolour pencil, and you'll see the difference as I go through. So creating the outline on the tips of each flower, I've used the Whisper White watercolour pencil. Really looks nice just by itself. Bringing the crushed curry in, I'm just going to add a little bit of colour to each petal, and we're going to build up each petal with extra colour. Using the crushed curry first, I'm going to then move on to the Daffodil Delight watercolour pencil, as we can see here. And you can please yourself how much you use. I think adding a little bit more depth with the colour looked really good. Cajun Craze for the centre, and I didn't really like the way the Cajun Craze looked, so I then came in with the Early Espresso pencil as well, just for a little bit more colour. The Early Espresso pencil did create a few lines, so I'm just using my finger to dull out any of those harsh lines. Coming back in with a bit of crushed curry. I'm really happy with the card that I've just done. It certainly looks a lot better than the re-inker effect. So moving on to the basic black sentiment piece here. The stamp set has a great sentiment that says thanks a bunch, and I'm inking it up with the Versamark ink. We're going to use the Whisper White embossing powder to emboss this image. I'm going to heat the heat tool up with this sentiment, and as soon as it melts it'll go really nice and glossy. You can find all these items that I've used on today's card over on my online store. If you place an order through me, please pop in the hostess code. There's some really great benefits for shopping with me as well. The sentiment really pops with that heat embossing. Bringing some Whisper White twine in, and I'm just going to layer it around a couple of times, tying a nice little bow on the left hand side. Now the Whisper White twine is no longer available in the new annual catalogue, but it is in this cased card, so I have used it. Such a sweet little bow on the side. The sentiment we're going to pop up with some dimensionals, and I found it easier to pop some dimensionals on the top and bottom of the sentiment. That way it sits on either side of the twine there. And I'm just using the bones to pop them up with. Such a beautiful card. Also going to pop it up with some dimensionals, and we have our card ready to go. Thanks so much for joining me today on today's video. If you've enjoyed it, please give me a thumbs up, and I'd love it if you left me a comment. Now, which one did you prefer? The first one I did in my sample, or the second one using the white watercolor pencils. These are so amazing to use, and I really like this one. The first one I did, I've actually used Whisper White inking refill, and it didn't turn out as well. Now in the catalogue they say shimmer paint is what they've used, and that really looked awful. So I really love the Whisper White watercolor pencil that's been used in this one. Let me know anyway. If you haven't hit subscribe yet, please do that, and I would love to see you back here with another video. Until then, have a wonderful day. Bye bye.